I'm waiting for others to join. How many of you have read chapter number 2, except APR people? I know all of you were going through test, so I'm not asking you guys. Except CAPR batch. Okay, I have 2 more minutes. I'll not wait more than 2 more minutes for others to join. So because only 10 people are here. So okay. So let me start. So in this chapter, this chapter 2 of grade 9 Karnataka board syllabus, and we have union government. So union government has different constituents. So we will study about different houses of parliament. Then we will study about what are different powers of parliament, different functions. Then we will go to president, similarly powers and functions of president, and then we will go to prime minister. So people are joining slowly. So just give me 1 minute, please. Okay, chalo, let's start now. So let's go in full flow. So we have learned in previous session. So the previous chapter was about drafting of constitution and different features of constitution. So we studied about in the first chapter we studied about drafting of constitution and features of constitution. So we studied about how constituent assembly. So we studied about cabinet mission first. So there were three people in cabinet mission. Then we studied about uh, drafting. I mean, constituent assembly. And in constituent assembly, we had first meeting, then second meeting, then last meeting. Fill all these blanks, all of you. Who were these three people when the first meeting was done, when the second meeting was done? We had temporary president who is generally called first president, Mr. Sachidanand Sinha, and then we had last meeting when constitution was signed by members of constituent assembly. Then we celebrated our Republic Day. We went to preamble and likewise different other features. So in preamble, which are the three words, which are the three words added by three words added by Constitutional Amendment Act. Which Constitutional Amendment Act was this? Everything you should do it on yourself. You do it by yourself. Now let me move to the second chapter, and the second chapter is we have to study about union government. So to study union government, first we need to know what are the different houses. So we already know that we have parliamentary system, and in parliamentary system we have bicameral legislature. So bicameral legislature, there are two houses. First house is Rajya Sabha, which is called upper house. It is also called upper house. And the second house is Lok Sabha, which is called lower house. And in Rajya Sabha, so Rajya Sabha, there can be maximum 250 seats. But these 250 seats are not present now. This has been written as there can be two uh, 50 seats, maximum 250 seats, but this is the maximum seats which are possible. But are 250 seats available to be filled now? No. So how many seats are there currently? 245 seats are there. Now out of these 245 seats, 233 seats are from elections. So election happens for these 233 seats. So 12 seats are left out. What about these 12 seats? So 12 seats, on these 12 seats, members are nominated by President of India. So, if 12 members are nominated by President of India, what are the different areas? So, it is social services, science, arts, culture, social services, science, art, culture, and sports also has been added to this because from 2013 to 2012 to 2018, I think, Sachin Tendulkar was nominated in Rajya Sabha. Now, out of these 233 seats which goes for election, 229 seats are for states from all 29 states, and 4 seats are from UTs, and there is only one UT from where Rajya Sabha members are selected. So out of UTs, they all come from New Delhi. So a question can be from here, that which is the only union territory in India which has its representation in Rajya Sabha? The answer is New Delhi. Okay, one question is, what about rest 5 seats left from 250 seats? See, when constitution, the number of seats in legislative assembly is dependent. Legislative assembly means I'm talking about state assemblies. There, the number of seats are as per the population level in India. So as per the population level in India, those number of seats are fixed. As the members of legislative assemblies, as the seats in legislative assembly is fixed, we can select only a few number of uh, what to say. We can select only a few number of Rajya Sabha seats from each legislative assembly. So let me discuss how members of Rajya Sabha are selected. There I'll touch upon why 5 seats have been left out. Why only 245 seats are there. So this is the case till here. Now let me check your book. What is left out? India has adopted parliamentary system. One thing that you need to understand over here is that as per Article 79 provides for creation of parliament. So this is very, very important. This article, you should remember that it is Article 79, which tells that create parliament. Now look at here, the number of seat in Rajya Sabha is 250, of which 238 members are elected and 12 members are various field like literature, art, science, social work are nominated. This house is known as House of Elders. Now this 250 seat is maximum number of seats. Currently only 245 members are there. So that you should remember. Is it okay? So Article 79, apart from what I have discussed, is important. Rest everything I have discussed with you. And term of office. Now, what do you mean by terms of office? So Rajya Sabha is a permanent body. Try to understand. There can be one question, that what is the time period after which Rajya Sabha gets dissolved? So remember these two lines. Rajya Sabha is a permanent body and it does not get dissolved like Lok Sabha. So what do you mean by dissolving of Lok Sabha? Dissolving of Lok Sabha means Lok Sabha is a house of people where elected government has to be there. Government elected by people has to be there. So currently in Lok Sabha, BJP government is there. If BJP government is there because people gave 303 seats to BJP. Number of seats in Lok Sabha now is 543. Any party or a group of party which we called coalition in India wants to make government in Lok Sabha needs to have half of 543, which is 272 members. BJP itself has 303 members. That's why it was able to form government in Lok Sabha. Now try to understand. So what about Rajya Sabha? Do we need do we need to have a majority of ruling party in Rajya Sabha? No. In fact, currently, if you look at the numbers, BJP or any particular party does not have majority in Rajya Sabha. So what happens if they don't have majority? Will it get dissolved? No, it does not get dissolved. It's a house which is permanent house. It never gets dissolved like Lok Sabha. But how do we select members? So try to understand the term of each member in the Rajya Sabha is 6 years. So every 2 years, 1/3 of the members lose. So try to understand. Suppose this is year 2019. So already 245 members are here. Now in 2020, 1/3 of member, those who were selected in 2014, 1/3 of this. So 1/3 of this would be near around. So if it would have been 246, 82 members nearly every. So 82 members who were selected in 2014 would lose their membership of the Rajya Sabha, and election will happen on those 82 seats. Similarly, 82 members who were part of Rajya Sabha in 2014, who came in 2014. So not 2016, they'll lose their membership in 2022. And similarly, those who came in 2016, 18, they'll lose their membership in 2024. So that's how election keep on happening. And every 2 year, 1/3 of the existing members will lose their membership. And on those number of seats, elections will happen. And the new members, those members who win those elections would be joining the Rajya Sabha again. Can a member who is part of Rajya Sabha contest for election again? Yes, he can contest for election again. There is no restriction on number of times you can be part of Rajya Sabha. So suppose I got elected. Suppose I got elected in 2014. Can I fight an election in 2020? Yes, I can fight an election in 2020. So I was member from 2014 to 2020. Suppose in 2020 I contest the election and I win. Again, I can be member till 2026. So that's how election happens. Now, what are the qualification of members who wants to be part of Rajya Sabha? So it has been written. This is not very important, but you should know it. He should be citizen of India. People who are not citizen of India cannot be part of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. They have to be citizen of India. What should be age? Age may be asked. This is the only question which is which can be formed from criteria, because age varies for Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. For Lok Sabha, it is 25 years. For Rajya Sabha, it is 30 years. So please remember that people who want to be, any person who wants to be member of Rajya Sabha has to have age of 30 years. He should not have been punished under law. This needs an explanation. Once again, anyone who has been punished under law for more than 2 years of imprisonment. So once he finishes his once, so he'll be jailed after his imprisonment. End of imprisonment, 6 years is the wait time. You cannot contest election for 6 years after you end your imprisonment. If you have been punished, should not have been declared a person of unsound mind, and should possess the qualification specified from time to time by parliament. So they keep on doing this every time to time. This keeps on changing. So one thing is important, that the person should be of 30 years of age. Vice president is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. Who is the chairman of Rajya Sabha? So try to understand, we have a concept of speaker and deputy speaker. So speaker and deputy speaker are responsible for functioning of the house. So like in Lok Sabha, they are called speaker and deputy speaker. In Rajya Sabha, speaker is called chairman, and deputy speaker is called deputy chairman. And this post of chairman is fixed for vice president of India. So a question can be asked that who is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. So you need to, who is the chairman of Rajya Sabha. So you need to tell that the chairman of Rajya Sabha is vice president. So vice president, and who is the vice president now? Mr. M. Venkaiah Naidu is vice president of India now. So chairman of Rajya Sabha now is Mr. M. Venkaiah Naidu. The deputy chairman is chosen from among the members. So very clearly understand in one go only is chairman of Rajya Sabha is vice president, and vice president is not a member of Rajya Sabha. So out of speaker, deputy chairman and chairman, only chairman is not the member of parliament. So chairman, who is vice president of India, is not member of Rajya Sabha. Otherwise, speaker in Lok Sabha and deputy speaker in Lok Sabha would be member of Lok Sabha. Deputy chairman in Rajya Sabha would be member of Rajya Sabha. Only chairman, who is vice president of India, will not be member of Rajya Sabha. So this is very, very important. You should know that chairman, who is vice president of India, is not member of Rajya Sabha. Okay. And at least 10% of the members, a minimum of 25 members, should be present during the sessions of Rajya Sabha. This is called quorum. So for any house to run, this quorum should be maintained, which is 10% of the member of the house. So it has to be 245 divided by 5 is divided by 10 is 24.5. So 24 is less than 24.5. So this is not acceptable. So 25 members should be present for the house to be functioning. If less than 25 members are present, then the house cannot function. So this is called quorum. Then we have Lok Sabha. So in Lok Sabha, again, let me go to where I was. Yes. So before I go to Lok Sabha, there are a few more questions that I need to handle about Rajya Sabha. People were asking, so you should know that how members of Rajya Sabha are elected. Members of Rajya Sabha are elected by members of Legislative Assembly of the states. Members of Legislative Assembly of state. Members of Legislative Assembly of a state are called MLAs. So MLAs elect Rajya Sabha members. Now, total number of MLAs in any state is decided by population of that state. So this is fixed. Like in Karnataka, we have uh, how many seats? We have 224 seats, I think. Just check it once. It is 224 or 229. In UP, this is 401. That's for sure. So Rajasthan, it is 200. Madhya Pradesh, it is 229 for sure. So this is for Rajasthan. This is for MP. Tamil Nadu, it is 288, I think. So likewise, members of, I mean, seats in state assemblies. Now this is fixed. Now it is already been decided that how many members are needed to select one Rajya Sabha member, elect one Rajya Sabha member. Like in UP, you need 31 MLAs for one Rajya Sabha seat. So you can have maximum 10 to 12 seats per every 2 year. So that is fixed. So total number of seats from UP is nearly uh, 33 or something. So that is why if you add all these numbers, this adds up to 245. So if it adds up to 245, that is why the 250 criteria has not been fulfilled, because it has been restricted to control undue increase in population. Because what happens if you make this free, that it can be 270, 280, po- population will keep on increasing. There would be measures to increase population, because people who want to be member of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha will wish that the seats keep on swelling and more people keep on coming into Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and hence there would be undue population. So due to that, it has been uh, restricted at 250. So I hope you understood it. Now Lok Sabha. So Lok Sabha, maximum number of seats are not is five, not 545. This is uh, Lok Sabha. Maximum number of seats are 552. Currently, 545 seats are there. 7 seats are not taken. Out of 545, 543 is elected, and 2 seats are nominated. Here it is not art, science, literature, and all those things. I left literature here. These two nominated members has to be from Anglo-Indian community. And if president feels that this is only in case if president feels that members of Anglo-Indian community has not been represented in Lok Sabha properly, so then only president of India can nominate. So the question can be, who nominates member in parliament, whether in Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha? Is it prime minister? No, members are nominated by president of India. So this is very important. So 543 seats are there. Now these 543 seats have been divided into different states. So like in UP we have 80 seats, Bihar we have 40 seats, Karnataka we have MP we have 29 seats. In Other states, Telangana 14, I think. Uh, Maharashtra 48. And likewise, you don't need to remember it. I'm just showing you the bifurcation. Kerala, we have 20 seats. Gujarat 26. Tamil Nadu is again 42. So likewise, West Bengal is 42. So nearly, this is the bifurcation. It can be one seats here and there, as far as I remember. So this adds up to 543. Out of 543, um, one second. Out of 543, um, anyone who wants to begin, anyone who wants to make a government, as I have already told you, anyone who wants to make government has to be, so total 28 seats are there in Karnataka. There is absolutely no doubt about it. So that's what I was checking. So out of 543, half the number of seats are needed to form a government, which comes out to be 271.5. Number of members can never be in decimal, so it has to be an integer number more than that. So 272 members are needed. Currently, BJP has how many seats? It has 303 seats. So we have a secure and stable government in parliament. Now let me go to your book. So your book says the 79 seats are reserved for scheduled caste, 41 seats. So out of 545, 2 are for Anglo Indians, then 79 are for XSCs. So 2 are for Anglo Indian, 79 for scheduled caste SC, and 41 for scheduled tribe, just to ensure proper representation of every community in the Lok Sabha. Now, what is the term of Lok Sabha? Lok Sabha members are elected for a term of 5 years. Do they stay for 5 years? It depends on how stable the government is. Like, I'll give you few elections. So, 1989. In 1989 elections, Janta Dal formed the government, and in between it saw two prime ministers, Mr. VP Singh, Vishwanath Pratap Singh, and then Mr. Chandrasekhar. But the government fell down in 1991 because it was a coalition government, and people who were supporting the government, they withdrew their support, and the government fell only in 2 years. So though they are maximum, so it should be understood that the members of Lok Sabha are elected for a maximum term of 5 years. It can be less than 5 years if the government does not have enough support, if it does not have support of 272 MPs. However, on the recommendation of the Prime Minister, the President may dissolve the Lok Sabha. So once, like if you look at the current Karnataka constitutional crisis, so what is happening is the governor of the Karnataka has told the chief minister that you should prove the majority. Now, pretty soon, the uh, chief minister will have to prove the majority. If he gets the majority, he will remain the chief minister of India. Sorry, chief minister of Karnataka. I'm very sorry, chief minister of Karnataka. If he does not, if he is not able to garner majority in Karnataka assembly, what will happen is he will have to tell the chief minister will have to tell the governor to dissolve the assembly. Similarly, prime minister will, if it is I mean, if it is understood that the prime minister does not enjoy the full majority in Lok Sabha, so he may be asked to prove majority in Lok Sabha. If he is able to prove it, he remains prime minister. If he is unable to prove it, the government falls, and the prime minister will recommend to the president that I don't have enough support in enough support means 272 members. Remember this. This is very important number in Indian politics. 272. So he will have to um, tell to President of India that he does not have enough support in Lok Sabha. So that's why the Lok Sabha has to be dissolved. During emergency, this is very, very important. The term may be extended for 1 year. Now, what is emergency? So what happens in Constitution of India? Specific powers have been provided to the Parliament of India, in which there is something called emergency, and emergency is nothing but uh, President of India can impose. Just give me a moment. Let me check. Okay, so President of India can impose emergency. There are three kinds of emergency which has been discussed in constitution, which is national emergency, financial emergency. National two of them which are main are national emergency and financial emergency. Has emergency ever been imposed in India? Yes, it has been imposed in India once in 1975. It was imposed by imposed when let Miss in Mrs. Indira Gandhi was Prime Minister of India. So for how much time? So in if emergency has been imposed in India, the term of the Parliament need not to be only 5 years. Even if it is 5 years, it can be increased by 1 year at a time. So 1971 we had an election. 1976 we were supposed to go for election. The election didn't happen that year. It was increased. The parliament tenure was increased by 1 year, and then 1977 elections were held, in which the government led by the party Congress party lost. The first non-Congress government was made in 1977. The major part which played in uh, loss of Congress was imposition of emergency in India. Now, what are the different qualifications of the members of Lok Sabha? They should be citizen of India. They must be of 25 years of age, not less than 25 years. So remember, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, this is age wise, this is 25, this is 30. Then should not hold office of profit under government. So generally government servants, IS, IPS, all these people cannot be just give me a moment, guys. Just give me a moment. Okay, guys. So something important. So look at here. I was discussing. Uh, I was discussing Lok Sabha. So everything remains same. I mean, in the terms that age is 25 and 30, and then he should not be under any office of profit. Office of profit should be any. He should not be um, IAS, IPS, all government service officers. They have to leave job to contest the election. If they are not leaving job, they cannot contest any election. And similarly, you can see that the other criteria should not have been punished under law, should possess qualifications as specified by parliament from time to time. So that is one thing. Lok Sabha Speaker. So Lok Sabha Speaker, the members elect from among themselves a speaker and deputy speaker. I already discussed this. Speaker has to maintain impartiality. So try to understand. Currently, Speaker of Lok Sabha is Mr. Om Birla. Now, Mr. Om Birla was generally the speaker is from ruling party. Ruling party means the party which has made government here. So ruling party means currently it is BJP. Now, as soon as a member of ruling party is promoted as speaker, he has to shed his it is not written in Indian constitution that he has to leave the membership of the party from which he comes from, but there are different countries where it has been written, like in UK. A person who is becoming the speaker of Lok Sabha, he has to leave the membership of the party from where he comes from, and then he has to um, then he'll be able to become the speaker. In India, this is not the case. The speaker need not to be shed the membership of the party, but he has to show impartiality while conducting the classes. So this is the case. He should maintain dignity and decorum. So maintaining dignity and decorum of the house. The speaker gives his ruling whenever there are questions about validity of the proceedings. So what do you mean by these lines? Speaker gives his ruling whenever the questions. I mean, if somebody is questioning that the proceeding is not as per the law or something, the speaker will decide whether it is happening or not. So according to the protocol, all including prime minister are expected to respect the speaker of the house. That is why you see there is a general tendency to um, I mean, if members are speaking in English, they always called speaker sir. So a respect has to be maintained for him in the house, including prime minister. When bill gets equal number of votes, this is very important line which I am reading now. Try to understand, if there is a bill and 300 members are participating in the discussion, it may happen that 150 votes is for the bill, I mean in support of bill, and 150 votes are against it. Now it's a tie. So whether the bill should be passed or bill should not be passed, who will decide? So that is what it has been written here, that when the bill gets equal number of votes for and against them, speaker casts the deciding vote. So casting vote or deciding vote is with speaker. So if he decides for, then it's for. If he decides against it, it's against it. Deputy Speaker conducts the proceeding in the absence of a Speaker. Only when the Speaker is absent, Deputy Speaker would be given charge of conducting the proceedings of Lok Sabha. Now, apart from Speaker and Deputy Speaker, we have um, opposition leader. So, opposition leader means role and work of opposition leader. Actually, it should be studied with Parliament. Opposition leader means highlight the wrongdoing. So, it is generally from the main opposition party. Now, try to understand. One is leader of main opposition party, and one is opposition leader. For the post of opposition leader, the main opposition should get 1/10 of 545 members, which is 54.5. So this is integer to be rounded off to next integer greater than this, 55. So at least 55 members should be there for the post of. No, generally, Pravalika's question is, can the speaker vote otherwise for a normal vote? Speaker only votes when there is a tie of vote. Otherwise, speaker cannot vote because there is no need for speaker to vote. So speaker will not vote for the normal bill. So now suppose, is there an opposition leader in the parliament? No. For the last two elections, election of 2014 and election of 2019, which just concluded, in both of them, Mr. Modi was prime minister. Mr. Modi took the charge of prime minister of India. The main opposition party in both 2014 and 2019 is Congress. But in 2014, Congress after election got 44 members, and 2019 Congress after election got 52 or 54 seats, which is less than 55 seats. That is why currently there is no opposition leader in parliament. So opposition leader is not there, but leader of main opposition party is there. So main opposition party is Congress. So they have selected among themselves Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. He is currently leader of leader of main opposition party. So if somebody asks you that who is the opposition leader, you should say that as Congress was unable to get 55 seats in general elections just concluded in month of May, hence we don't have any leader of opposition now. But we have leader of main opposition party. Main opposition party is Congress, and Mr. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary is leader of main opposition party. Highlight the wrongdoings of the ruling government. So wrongdoings of, what is the role of opposition leader? Obviously they'll find faults in what government is doing. Whatever bills and policies government is bringing, they have to critically analyze those policies, keep the government council of minister and officials alert, and has a respectable position in the legislature. So it is always told that for a strong democracy, a very strong opposition is needed. Okay. Now, powers and functions of the parliament. Legislative powers. The main function of the parliament is to make laws. Why parliament is there? Parliament, the main function is to make laws. Like, for that matter, I'll tell you, just 2-3 days back, the parliament was discussing the motor vehicle bill. So in that, there were different procedures and policies been discussed, how to avoid um, how to avoid the large number of accidents happening in on Indian roads. What should be penal provision if somebody is violating traffic laws, and if somebody is violating other motor vehicle laws. So what should be penal provision for that? So different rules are there. It can frame laws on the subjects mentioned in. So I have told you while discussing the first chapter that we have a union government, but government functions basically through federal procedure. So all the works has been divided into three lists. One is union list, and I told this is schedule 7 of Indian constitution. Schedule 7 of Indian constitution. So we have union list, we have what do you say, state list, and we have concurrent list. Concurrent list means it is under purview of both union government. Union government means central government and state government. So legislative power of parliament uh, only include subjects, or only include things which are under union list. You look at here, central list. And they can also make it on concurrent list. Can they make it on state list? No, they cannot make laws on state list. The financial bill is presented in Lok Sabha. Financial bill, other bills can be presented in either house. So try to understand any financial bill. Financial bill means related to money. Financial bill will only be presented in Lok Sabha. First, it has to be initiated in Lok Sabha. Once Lok Sabha votes it, then it goes for discussion in Rajya Sabha. Any other bill can be first presented either in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. It doesn't matter. So the criteria is only financial bill has to be presented first in Lok Sabha. The other bills can be presented in either house, but the bill becomes law only after proper discussion and approval by both the houses. Whichever house you present the bill, it has to be passed by both the houses, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, for it to become bill. Uh, so it becomes a bill after both the houses support it. How do bill is converted to act? So when does it become passed bill? When it is supported by Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha both. From bill to act conversion, when does happen? So after bill is passed by Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, it is sent to president. And if president signs it, it becomes act. It becomes law of India by signature of president. When there is a disagreement between the houses regarding a bill, president may call for joint session of the parliament and resolve the matter. So there is a timeline. Under that timeline, if the bill is not passed by either house, so suppose like now government does not have uh, majority in Rajya Sabha, and if any bill gets stuck in Rajya Sabha, then what will happen? So for that, there is a provision that president will call a joint parliament, joint meeting of both the houses. Now, in joint meeting of both the houses, if the bill gets approval by half of the members attending, it will become a bill. After both houses passes the bill, it is forwarded to president for his approval, after which it becomes law. So it converts to act, and act means a law. Now, one question may arise from here. So I told you that in Lok Sabha, speaker and deputy speaker are there. In Rajya Sabha, chairman and deputy chairman are there. So in Rajya Sabha, chairman and deputy chairman. In Lok Sabha, speaker and deputy speaker. Now guess, just let me know who heads the meeting when it is a joint meeting of both the houses. So, like head of Lok Sabha is speaker, head of Rajya Sabha is chairman. When it is a joint meeting, then who is the head of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha? Sorry, when it is a joint meeting of both the houses, who will be the head? Just guess it. I want to check your guessing ability. President. Kshitij, I'm telling you to guess it, not ask it. Okay, those who are saying president is are definitely wrong. President will never come and become the head of it has to be one among chairman, deputy chairman, speaker, and deputy speaker. Now guess it. Hey, I'm saying one among chairman, deputy chairman, and speaker and deputy speaker. How come prime minister comes? It is speaker of Lok Sabha. The correct answer is speaker of Lok Sabha. So don't fall in this trap of vice president of India, because chairman is vice president of India. So look at the bigger position and speaker of Lok Sabha. If speaker of Lok Sabha is absent, it is deputy speaker of Lok Sabha. If deputy speaker of Lok Sabha is also absent, then deputy chairman of Rajya Sabha. If all three are absent, then the members who are attending this meeting, they'll decide who will be the member of who will be heading the meeting. And chairman will never be chairman. Even if all three of them are not there, chairman cannot be heading this meeting, because I already discussed with you that chairman is not member of any house, so he cannot be, then he cannot be sorry, he cannot be head of joint meeting of Lok Sabha, sorry, joint meeting of both the houses. So legislative power, I have told you, to make bills. Then we have administrative power in parliamentary system of government. Prime Minister and his council of ministers form executive. So who forms executive is first important thing. So executive means PM plus union ministers. The union cabinet is accountable to parliament. Accountable to parliament, specifically to Lok Sabha. Because in Lok Sabha they have to prove majority. The members of the parliament ask questions which must be answered by ministers. The council of ministers can be power only as long as they enjoy trust of parliament. Trust of parliament means more than 272 members supporting them. Parliament has control over executive. How parliament has control over executive? Parliament can question any decision of any minister. So that is the thing. Financial powers of Lok Sabha exercises total control. Remember this word, total control over financial matters. That is why all the financial bills are first introduced in Lok Sabha. And any tax which has to be levied without the approval of Lok Sabha. So if any tax has to come, any tax, it has to be with the approval of Lok Sabha. If there is no approval of Lok Sabha, no tax can be, I mean, no new tax can be levied. After being passed by the Lok Sabha, the bill goes to the Rajya Sabha for discussion. The Rajya Sabha can give certain suggestions and direction, and also delay giving its consent to the bill for 14 days. If it does give its consent within 14 days, it is taken for granted that Rajya Sabha has approved it, and it is sent to the president for its approval. Try to understand. I'm only discussing about financial bills, and in financial bills budget is also included, like on July 4th, I think, or July 6th, 4 6, whenever the budget was presented by our respected finance minister. So budget also comes in finance bill. Financial bills has to be first introduced only in Lok Sabha. Second one is Rajya Sabha cannot change it, can't make any amendment. Okay. If Rajya Sabha can't make any amendment, what can Rajya Sabha do? It can give suggestions. What about suggestions? Is it binding on Lok Sabha? No. Lok Sabha can take these suggestions. Lok Sabha can accept suggestion or reject it. Accept or reject it. Depends on the wishes of Lok Sabha. Now, Rajya Sabha also cannot keep it with it for infinite time. They have to send it in 14 days. If they are unable to give suggestion or to discuss it within 14 days, it is assumed that Rajya Sabha has accepted it. So, Rajya Sabha can only delay any financial bill only for 14 days. In after 14 days, it is out of the purview of Rajya Sabha. So this is only for financial bills, not for any other bill. Judicial power. Both the houses of the parliament have authority to remove judges of Supreme Court, the High Court, through a motion of impeachment. They also have power to discuss the findings of the reports related to judiciary. So Law Commission report and other reports related to judiciary can be discussed in parliament. And if any judge is found to be not following constitutional procedures, uh, he can be impeached by the parliament. Has any judge been impeached by parliament yet? No. No judge of Supreme Court and High Court has ever been impeached by parliament. There was a motion against one judge, but that was defeated in parliament, so that was not possible. Power to amend constitution. This is very important. So constitution can be amended only by the parliament. It can never be amended by any state legislative assemblies. State legislative assemblies cannot change the constitution of India. The constitution of India can only be changed by parliament. Both the houses of parliament have equal power to amend constitution. The amendment bill can be presented first in either house. So any bill except financial bill can be presented in any bill, any house. However, the approval of both the houses is required. That we already know. Uh, if one house approves the amendment and other does not, then the amendment cannot be carried out. This is for all the bills except financial bill. We know that if Lok Sabha passes constitutional amendment bill and Rajya Sabha does not pass it, it can never become an act. So, but apart from that, there are few bills like we had GST bill. So GST bill was a very important bill for the whole country because it was related to states also. So there are few constitutional amendment act bills which, apart from the two houses Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, has to be passed by at least half of the total states. So half of 29 is 14.5, integer more than this, so 15 states. So like GST bill was passed by more than 15 states for it to become a rule in 1 second, for it to become an act or law, whatever we say. So these are other powers are Parliament can frame jurisdiction. What are the different jurisdictions and power of Supreme Court? Establish high court, create new states like new state. Recent new state was created when Andhra Pradesh was separated and two states, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, was made. Before that, 3-4 states were separated, like UP was separated in Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand. Uh, Bihar was separated between Bihar and Jharkhand. MP was separated, MP and Chhattisgarh. So who does it? It is only under the purview of state government, union government, to discuss reports like Public Service Commission, Finance Commission, all these reports, and it can declare emergency, that we already did. So next is union executive. What is union executive? So executive is we have already discussed it. Executive is Prime Minister plus Council of Minister. So they implement law framed by union legislature, and they also form different policies and try to implement it across the country. Union executive consists of President, Prime Minister, and Council of Minister. Now try to understand why President has been added here, because Prime Minister plus Council of Ministers, anything that do, any bill which is passed by the virtue of acts done by Prime Minister and Council of Minister, does not become law if President does not sign it. So that is why in Union Executive, President, Prime Minister, and Council of Ministers have been added. The President is the head of executive only in name, where the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers are actual executive. So President is called de jure and Prime Minister is called de facto leader of India. So President does not make the laws, he only signs the laws, signs the bills to make it law. Article 52 of our so let me go to President. So President is head of state of India. Any particular bill will become act or law only with his signature. So let's go to President. So President has to be there. Creation of post is by Article 52. He is the constitutional head of the country. He is the first citizen, head of executive, and the commander-in-chief of all three armed forces. No war can be done without his permission. Can he take discretionary decision? No. All his decisions are taken with the advice of Prime Minister plus Council of Minister. There are only few discretionary decisions which President can take. If it is in purview of your syllabus, I'll discuss it. Otherwise, I'll leave it because it is not important. So that is the thing. One thing is important, that no court of law in India can ever question his conduct or prosecute him. He cannot be put under jail when he is the President of India. As simple as that. Article 54 and 55 of the Constitution stipulate that the President should be elected. I told that if head of a state is elected, then only the country becomes republic. So I told that India is a republic, and if India is a republic, it is very much known from this fact that our head of state, which is president, has to be elected. Now, is president elected directly from people of India? No, the election of president is an indirect election. So first thing that comes in my mind when I talk about election is indirect election. What do I mean by indirect election? So indirect election means we choose our MLAs and MPs, and elected MLAs, not nominated. Always remember, in president election, only elected MLAs and MPs. Nominated one will not participate. Elected MLAs and MP will participate in voting for choosing president of India, electing president of India. Whosoever gets more vote will become the president of India. So look at here, it has been written that president is elected by electoral colleges of elected member of both the houses of parliament and all elected member of legislative assembly of the state. The Supreme Court judges administer him the oath of office. So you might have seen oath ceremony of our Prime Minister Mr. Modi. So oath was administered by the President of India. But if President is coming to power, who will administer oath of the President? So it is generally Chief Justice of Supreme Court who administers oath of the President. If Chief Justice is not available, then the senior most judge of the Supreme Court will be administering the oath of the President. His term of office is 5 years. He is eligible for re-election. When he goes against the Constitution, he can be removed from the office by Parliament through a motion of impeachment. And there is motion of impeachment written over there. The President is fundamental part of Parliament and also the protector of Constitution. He is protector of Constitution, but always remember this was a debate of I mean on this question there was a debate. He is protector of Constitution, but who is custodian of Constitution? Who is custodian of Constitution? It's Supreme Court of India. This question was asked in UPSC examination, which we fondly call IS examination. It was asked that who is the custodian of Constitution, and the answer was Supreme Court of India. So no one can challenge this. So protector may president may be protector, but custodian of Constitution is Supreme Court of India. He has to ensure that no one violates the Constitution. If president himself violates the Constitution, he can be impeached under Article 61. So four articles you have to remember. 52 is there should be a president. So this is for post of president. 54 and 55 is election of president. And 61 is removal of president, which can also be called impeachment of president. So why president will be impeached? There can be only one case: if he is violating Constitution, and that is why sometimes the Indian Constitution comes under a lot of scrutiny, because violation of Constitution has not been defined. That what do you mean by violates the Constitution? So it has been left on whims and fancies of different people who are there to scrutinize the act of President of India. So generally, violation of Constitution means what I understand from the violation of Constitution is that there are few discretionary power given to president. So those have been mentioned in Constitution very very well. Apart from this discretionary powers, other powers of president has to is not discretionary. I mean, he has to do those things from the advice of Prime Minister and with the help of Council of Minister. So generally, violation of Constitution would be that if he starts acting on his own behalf without taking any suggestion from Prime Minister and Council of Minister on the subjects which are not under his discretionary power list, it may be considered as violation of constitution. So where it has been mentioned, it has been mentioned in Article 61. So if any president has to be impeached, he has to be given a 14 days of notice. And impeachment cannot come that I become a member of parliament and I go and give a notice that I want to impeach President of India. The procedure is not that shallow. So procedure is like 1/4 of the member of any house. It can be in any house, Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. So if it is if impeachment motion is being introduced in Lok Sabha, it should be 1/4 of 545, or it should be 1/4 of 245, whichever house it is getting presented. So 1/4 of the member have to be signed that motion, impeachment motion, and then it has to be discussed in the house. Only when 2/3 of the members vote, then only the president can be removed. Otherwise, he cannot be removed. So removal of president is not that easy. That one member is not satisfied with the work of President of India, so he can go and he can remove the president. This is not the case. Now, what should be qualification? Again, he has to be citizen of India. There is no doubt about it. He should have completed 35 years. So remember, Lok Sabha, President 35 years, member of Rajya Sabha 30 year, member of Lok Sabha 25 year. He should be qualified. The other qualifications are he should be able to, except from the age criteria. Age criteria of Lok Sabha is 25, but the president has to be 35 years of age. So he should be qualified for the election as member of Lok Sabha. He should not hold any office of profit under the government. So that I have already explained that what is office of profit. Now, what are the powers of president? So executive power. So I told that president is highest, tallest member of executive. Then come prime minister. So president appoints prime minister, on his recommendation appoints other ministers. President has the power to appoint persons to high post, like attorney general is appointed by CAG, comptroller and auditor general is appointed, judges of Supreme Court and high courts, governors, chairman and member of finance commission, union public service commission, election commission. Then as he is the commander in chief of 3 armed forces, so those chiefs would be appointed. So ambassador to different countries. So if India sends any particular ambassador to different countries, the ambassadors are appointed by President of India, and they represent India on behalf of President of India, not Prime Minister. Remember this always. Legislative power, legislative power is house, both the house, whether Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. Only president can tell that, only president can summon it. Summoning it means after the recess, if it has to be restarted, president will tell that this is the day from where Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha meeting will start. And in generally the first session, every year the first session of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, there would be a joint meeting of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and then he'll address it. Any bill, I have already discussed, becomes an act or law only with the approval of president. But it is not. Try to understand, this is a very these are very beautiful procedures. So when we discuss about president in Indian constitution, people say that president does not have much power in his hand. But actually the constitution has been drafted so beautifully that nobody can force the president to sign any bill immediately. And if president is not signing any bill immediately, that is definitely not the violation of constitution. It is not violation of constitution. So president, whenever a bill goes to president for signing it, it is the right of president that he can analyze different characteristics of the bill. If he is happy with the bill, he can sign it. If he is not happy with the bill, he has three different options with him. He can return the bill for reconsideration. But this is but this is very dicey, because if president returns the bill for reconsideration, then if it is again, so it has again to be passed by Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha may change some policies, may not change some policies. If Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha passes it and sends it back to president has to sign it. No option now. Now he cannot do anything. So if president is returning any bill for reconsideration and Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha passes it again and it is sent back to president, he has to sign it. No other option. So what is done is, the other method is, then the other method is, he can withhold the bill. And withholding the bill means he will not sign. He'll say that I'm withholding the bill. As soon as he withholds the bill, it does not become act. The legitimacy of the bill is gone. Now if the bill has to be again brought, the bill has to be it has again to be introduced in parliament, new policy procedure, everything has to be made, and then again it has to be discussed, and again it has to be passed by Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and then again to be sent back. There is third option, and this is the most beautiful option. The president can keep this bill in one of his cupboard and forget about it. So there is no, so he can just keep the bill with him. He cannot say the status of the bill. He will not return it also. He'll not withhold it also. He'll just keep the bill with him, and nobody has power to ask that what you are doing with the bill. He can always say that I am analyzing the bill. So this is one of the most uh, this is one of the most beautiful attributes of or characteristics of constitution, that nobody can force president to sign any bill in haste. So this is the legislative power. Then I have already told that he appoints 2 members of Anglo-Indian and 12 members in Rajya Sabha, and he acts upon the recommendation of Prime Minister. Judicial power, I have already told you that um, judicial power is he appoints the judges of Supreme Court and High Court. If he needs any legal suggestion, so he can approach Supreme Court. Suppose a bill has been sent to the president where a lot of legal procedures have been discussed. So a president can be cannot. I mean, a president may not be a good may not have good knowledge of legal procedures. So in that case, if he needs any particular suggestion from any particular suggestion, he can approach Supreme Court for that, and he can get that suggestion. Also, try to understand if any person has been uh, given capital punishment. Capital punishment means what do you call death sentence by Indian law, or any other imprisonment case. He can reduce the imprisonment, he can cancel the capital punishment. President has all the power. So even if Supreme Court of India gives somebody capital punishment and he approaches President of India, President of India is free to I mean, not free, but President of India will look into legality of this, whether the capital punishment has been given as per the legal procedure, and if he finds that legal procedure has not been followed properly, he can cancel the capital punishment. Then financial power. Uh, Always remember that I told that financial bills, all financial bills has to be has to be introduced in Lok Sabha first, but it is necessary that you take permission of president. any financial bill, there are two things to be remembered for financial bill: that first, to be introduced in Lok Sabha, but you can never introduce it in even in Lok Sabha if president does not agree. So you have to take permission of president. It is only after president give permission it can be discussed. Military powers: president is commander in chief, he appoints chief of army, all these things. He only can declare war and peace on the recommendation of parliament. Emergency power: president only. When I was discussing emergency, I told that president only can declare emergency. Now try to understand remember these articles: article 352 to 360. Part 18 of Indian Constitution is about emergency. Emergency has been taken from Government of India Act 1935. Effects of emergency on fundamental rights and is borrowed from Constitution of Germany. Just remember these things. From where it has been taken: emergency procedure has been taken from Government of India Act 1935. Now, in remember in emergency, except few of the fundamental rights, all fundamental rights are taken back from the people of India. So nobody can do anything about that. There we have national emergency, state emergency, and financial emergency. So I didn't discuss state emergency at that point of time, because state emergency is when the chief minister does not have enough number. Like in Karnataka now, he has been told to prove his majority. Now, if he is able to prove the majority, state emergency will end. If he is unable to prove the majority, state emergency will continue. And as soon as he resigns, the governor will take over from him. Now, governor will look for other parties to form the government. If they are able to form the government, then again state emergency will go. If they are unable to form the government, then state will go for elections. Now, what is national emergency? When there is a threat to the security of any area in the country or the whole of it through external attack and internal disturbances. So national emergency is not only due to external attack. If government feels that due to internal attack, like in 1975, there was no external attack on India, it was due to internal disturbances why the emergency was imposed. So then only national emergency can be imposed. And to impose national emergency, first parliament has to give approval. If parliament gives approval, it, or if without parliamentary approval any emergency has been imposed, without parliamentary approval any emergency has been imposed, then within 1 month of imposing emergency, both the houses has to agree with that. So 1 month of declaration. The emergency remains in force for 6 months. Once the parliament has given its approval, from the day it has been imposed, it will continue till 6 months. Can it be taken away before 6 months? Yes, it can be taken away before 6 months. But anyway, if it is not taken away before 6 months, it will lapse after 6 months, and the government will again have to take permission of the parliament. When I talk parliament, I am talking about both the houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. State emergency I have already discussed with you. So state emergency is government for any region cannot function according to the principle of constitution. State emergency is declared for 6 times in total till now. If the approval of both the houses of parliament is taken. Financial emergency, the kind of emergency can be declared if it is felt that financial situation in the country has deteriorated. It has never been taken till now. So this is very this is not important. So our presidents have been discussed till here. Discretionary power of the president, I was mentioning this term time and again. Discretionary power of the president. The president can exercise certain powers without waiting for approval of union government. Like when elections happen, Obviously, Shreyas is asking that when Prime Minister Indira Gandhi imposed the emergency, did she have the approval of President? Obviously, she had the approval of President. Then only the emergency was approved. He may invite the leader. Now, like after election, generally the party which gets the majority, how was it removed? The parliament only removed it, and who forced her to live? It was on her discretion. So parliament approved it because she was the prime minister and her party had enough majority in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha to get it done. So she was able to get the uh, acceptance of the parliament. I mean, both the houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and it was time and again approved by president. So that's how. And when she wanted uh, that the emergency has to be revoked now, then only the emergency got revoked, and the nation went for elections. So he may invite the leader of any party to form government when no single party has majority after election. Generally, what happens that if any party has got majority, the leader of the all the members of the party getting majority will choose its leader. Like when BJP got 303 seats, they chose Mr. Modi as their leader, and then President of India. Then Mr. Modi has to approach the President of India, stating that my party has got the maximum seats in sorry the more than 272 seats in recent elections, and I have been elected as I have been elected as leader of the party. So I form I state to I mean I can form the government. So then he will get invitation to prove the a majority. Generally it is not needed, but what happens if any party is not able to get 272 seats? Then it is on the discretion of president whom he is inviting for forming the government. Similarly, any bill which is sent to the president of India, it is on the discretion of president of India whether he is signing the bill, whether he is returning the bill for reconsideration, whether he is withholding it, whether he is not signing it for some point. And if president of India feels that the particular government does not have enough majority, then president can dissolve the house. Generally it happens on the not generally it happens on the recommendation of the current prime minister. Now let me move to the prime minister. Constitution has provided for a council of ministers with the prime minister as its head to assist and advise the president in the administration of the country. Still, it is the prime minister who has the real power to carry out administration. The prime minister can give any advice to the president, and if it is not his discretionary power, he has to do it. Like if India is going for a war, president cannot decide when India will go for war and when it will not go for war. Prime minister and his council of ministers will decide that now it is time to retaliate or now it is time to attack any country, and they'll go and suggest the president that you have to we are taking this decision, and president has to agree with this decision. President is head of the country, where prime minister is head of the government. He remains in office as soon as long as he enjoys 270 support of 272 members. That is called trust of the Lok Sabha. What are the doubts, Shreyas? I already see. As far as emergency, your question is there have to be measures. The constitution wordings are so subjective that if any government who has good majority in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha wants to impose emergency in India, they can impose emergency in India. Nothing called there is nothing called uh, measures to prevent it. So if the government wants to impose emergency, government can impose emergency if they are powerful in both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, because generally um, the president is from ruling party. If like if you look at the current scenario, BJP has government in most of the states. Plus, hence, if they have government in most of the states, it means that most of the MLAs in countries are their MLAs. Then in Lok Sabha they have majority. In Rajya Sabha they don't have majority, but pretty soon they will be able to get majority in Rajya Sabha also. So what happens in that scenario is that whenever once they get majority in Rajya Sabha, and if God forbid they want to impose emergency in India, nobody will be no particular. There is nothing like that no, anyone can stop them. It is very much possible. So it is on the discretion of Prime Minister and Council of Minister, as simple as that. Yes, it was valid. Who is saying that it was not valid? Why it was needed is different people have different opinion on why it was needed. The Congress told that the situation in the country is very bad, corruption is happening and all those things, and we needed absolute power to overcome it. The opposition said that Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was facing a lot of difficulty in running the government, as well as the opposition was getting stronger. New leaders were coming on the front, and she felt that she can lose power pretty soon. So that's why she wanted to kill the opposition, and emergency was um, obviously dictatorship can develop, but there are I mean not procedures, but it can be challenged in Supreme Court of India. If Supreme Court of India feels that this has not been done as per the law, so Supreme Court of India can suggest the government that um, the emergency that you have imposed has to be removed. So that's it. What do you mean by what about judiciary? Constitution prohibit the dictatorship. There is no dictator. When Indira Gandhi imposed um, emergency, she didn't become dictator. She was Prime Minister of India only. But the only thing is that she had absolute power, and with absolute power, whether you call yourself Prime Minister or President or anything, people will say that um, courts will never lose power. In emergency provision, courts will not lose power. That's wrong. Only the fundamental rights are suspended for some time till the time emergency is there. Courts do not lose power. No exceptional circumstances. What do you mean by exceptional circumstance? I'm saying they'll not lose power, but it is written in constitution. What do you mean by exceptional circumstances? Okay. Appointment and removal of minister and allocation of portfolio. So different function of prime minister is that first, once he is chosen as prime minister, he takes oath, and after oath his council of minister takes oath, and various portfolios are allocated to different ministers as as per the um, wish of prime minister of India. His decision is final in allocation of portfolio. If he wants to remove any minister, he can remove it on his wish. Second thing, he is head of the government, so he is responsible for all the actions of government. Then he coordinates the activities of various ministers. He takes great interest in framing policy. Nothing. Head of the union cabinet, already discussed. What is union cabinet? Union cabinet is the real executive, has ministers in two hierarchies. The first one is cabinet level, and second one is minister of state. So if you look at the Indian cabinet now, we have Prime Minister of India, who heads the cabinet. Prime Minister, he is the head of the cabinet. Then we have three layers of minister. So two layers of minister. So one is cabinet minister, and one is ministers of state. In minister of states, we have independent charge, and non-independent charge, who are called Minister of States. So the cabinet has two kinds of responsibilities. The minister of every department is responsible for administration of his. He'll take care. Every minister will take care of his department, and then there comes collective responsibility. So collective responsibility means uh, when any minister is working for the government, he is obviously individually responsible for his department, but there is a collective responsibility with regard to decision. So suppose what happens, suppose I feel that some particular acts done by a particular minister is not good for India, so I can bring no confidence motion against the government. No confidence motion cannot come against a specific minister. I can demand that the minister should be removed, but the legislative procedure is such that no confidence motion has to be come against the government, and that is why union cabinet is collectively responsible in front of the parliament. The cabinet can be in power only trust of the parliament. Trust of the parliament means 272. This number is important. When it loses the trust, it is removed by a no confidence motion. So as simple as that. No confidence motion comes against the government, does not comes against any particular minister. So that's the thing. So this is the end of the chapter. No confidence motion has been written. Just read about it, and then I'll wrap up the session. So Shreya says you are asking that no. So power under emergency is absolute only over the people, not over all organs. It is, at least judiciary is separated from this. Judiciary can take decisions. Tell me. Have you read it? Okay, so no confidence motion is if a majority of Lok Sabha member lose their confidence on and withdraw support to the Prime Minister and his cabinet, the Prime Minister as well as cabinet minister will have to resign. It means that if they do not enjoy trust of the parliament, it means that if they are not supported by 272 members, then they have to resign. The motion passed by Lok Sabha members at the center and the Vidhan Sabha members at the state level asking for resignation of ruling party and the government at the center and state respectively because they don't trust them. And this is the thing. So this is only what I wanted to discuss in this is that no confidence motion, this privilege is enjoyed by Lok Sabha members and Vidhan Sabha members. This is not enjoyed by any other specific any other. I mean, this is not enjoyed by Rajya Sabha members and Vidhan Parishad members. How many? Till around 34, 35, it would be something like this. So solve these questions. What do you mean by one is A? It is filling the blanks. India is a federal country, republic country, secular country. You can fill anything. Second question. Good, Arv. Your mind is working in very right direction. India is a country. Good. Write the same answer in NTSE also. That I don't believe in any option. It should be India is a country. Second answer is parliament. Third answer is vice president of India. Good. So third answer is vice president. Fourth answer, it's not 35 Medha, it's 25. Lok Sabha it is 25. Question number 5. The commander in chief of all three forces is president of India. It is 54 and 55. The two articles 54 and 55. The chairman of Union Public Service Commission is appointed by President of India. Question number 7 is President of India. Okay, so thank you so much. In next class, we will discuss state and then comes judicial system. And the 5th chapter is, just let me check, Indian election system. So now the things will become very, very easy. Most of the things we'll know. Defense of nation, national integration. Okay, so next 2 class I'll try to finish all these things. Doesn't matter. Where I'm. So chapter number 3 now you have to read, and let's meet next week. Okay, chalo. Thank you so much.